challenging their probe. This is Twisdom 360 Politics Unplugged. No filter, no spin. Yes, hello and welcome to Twisdom 360 Politics Unplugged. Nigeria, Gaza, and the global resistance. Why 2027 must be the people's revolt in Nigeria from Abuja to all parts of the world and from the UN halls to the picket lines in Nigeria, and the fight for justice is intensifying. In this episode of Twisdom 360 Politics Unplugged from Kowa Podcast, we expose the shameless elite realignment in Nigeria as 2027 approaches and why the progressive left must rally behind one presidential candidate of our progressive extractions. In our mid-show, Kowa Global Trend, we zoom in on global trending stories from climate justice victories to the crackdown in Iran, from Peter Obi calling out Tinubu's deceit to whistleblowers shaking up Kano politics. Then in segment 2, we speak boldly and clearly about Israel is committing genocide in Gaza and we refuse silence. This is not just commentary, this is the voice of resistance. This is Kowa Podcast, the voice of the many, not just the few. Don't go anywhere. We are going to come back. Keep listening to Twisdom 360 Politics Unplugged from Kowa Podcast.
Shatter the screen, unplug the lies, reveal what's unseen. Twist on 360, no filters, just truth. Time to awaken, challenge their proof. Time to awaken, challenge the proof.
Yes. It is time to awaken and challenge their proof. And now we are going to challenge their proof. Today's segment 1 is coming from Twisdom 360 Politics Unplugged, a series on Facebook page of Kowa Podcast and Twisdom 360 Facebook page called Outline X Twisdom 360 series. As Nigeria enters yet another dangerous political cycle, the air is thick with desperate permutations, kingmakers and whispering power brokers are aligning, godfathers are reawakening, old alliances are dissolving and new unholy ones are being purged in back rooms where the people have no seat at the table. From Abuja to Lagos, Port Harcourt to Kano, the same tired actors, the juggernauts, the gladiators, the political warlords are preparing to rig the next 4 years of our life. They say they are planning for 2027, but let's be real, they are scheming for themselves, not for us. A rotten cycle of power without purpose. Look around, the APC barely holding its cracked walls together is bleeding internally. Even yesterday, the ANPP extraction talks about being marginalized and they are gonna go out to look for greener political pasture. This shows that even the ruling party having its crack walls together is bleeding internally and there is big internal wrangling which they are denying. The PDP too broke to campaign is now selling itself to the highest bidder. The LP once promising now looks more like a recycled PDP project in green clothing. The ADC and others just negotiation tools and special vehicle purposes in the elite marketplace. We are witnessing a grand elite musical chair, a political rigmarole of the same men and their sons, reshuffling power among themselves like a private family estate. It is no longer just about failure, it is deliberate sabotage of hopes of 200 million plus Nigerians. The same men who have impoverished our parents now want to rule over our children. 2027 has already begun and the people are not in the room. In the last 2 weeks alone, political processes across Nigeria have been meeting margin and realigning, not to solve the hunger, poverty, or banditry, but to share the zoning formulas, negotiate ticket swaps, and entrench dynasties. Tinubu's handlers want him to return. Atiku is strategizing. Peter Obi is watching the polls, and Konkoso is calculating. Wike is bartering influence. Others like Erupai, Tambol, and David Mack are circling like vultures. None of them represent the peoples. They are all part of the same decayed system that brought Nigeria to its knee, put it down to the ditch, and take us to the doldrum. Now we need someone to bring us out of that doldrum that these people put us in. We cannot keep choosing between our oppressors. We've been told to choose the lesser evil every 4 years, but now we know better. Whether it is APC, PDP, LP, or newly ADC, they are just factions of the same oppressive class. There are not alternatives, they are symptoms, and that's why it is time to stop playing their games. It is time to flip the table. A new politics is possible, but only if we unite. No more than now, more than ever, Nigeria's progressive process, leftist, socialist, pan-Africanist, climate activists, Greens, labor unions, student, feminist, collectives, and mass movement builders must unite. That's what we are saying. If you feel yourself, you identify yourself, progressive, leftist, socialist, pan-Africanist, climate justice activist, which is green, labor unionist or trade unionist, students, feminist collectives, and mass movement builders must unite at this time. And the unifying figure that stands tall in this moment is only one person that they don't want to hear his name. They don't necessarily like to hear his name being mentioned, and he's everywhere. You cannot just deny him his own quality. Is Omoyele Sowore. He is not a messiah, but unlike the others, he's unbought, unboast, and unwavering. For decades he has been fighting, not for appointments, but for accountability, not for contracts, but for liberation, not for tribal thrones, but for social justice. Sowore represents the struggle for true freedom. Sowore is the only 2027 aspirant who speaks the language of the people's power, not godfathers, not financiers. He does not rely on the billionaire cartels. He relies on you and I. He does not bend to the foreign interests. He is pan-Africanist to the core. He does not pretend. He confronts. He's been arrested, beaten, vilified, and mocked, but never, ever has he compromised. If that's not revolutionary integrity, what is it? This is a call to process. This is a call to all forces of change, whether you are leftist fed off with capitalism and inequality, a student tired of ASU strikes and unemployment, a climate justice warrior fighting oil greed and ecocide, a feminist demanding bodily autonomy and equity, a unionist struggle against wage theft and job casualization, a pan-Africanist envisioning an Africa beyond borders and neocolonialism. Your fight is Sowore's fight. This is the moment to build a united front of resistance. We must organize before they paralyze us. 2027 must not be another rerun for elite betrayal. The path forward is not easy. It requires mass mobilization, ideological clarity, radical grassroots organizing, a clear break from the politics of crumbs and compromise. But we have the tools, we have the anger, we have the history, and we have leader who has never abandoned the struggle. Enough is enough. It is time. Let 2027 be the year we say never again. Will our destiny be auctioned? Yeah, let's say it. Let's say that never again will our destinies be auctioned. Never again will we choose between tormentors. This time we choose our future and we fight for it. Let's Let the political class know the people are not sleeping anymore. The revolution is organizing. Unite po Sowore, fight for Nigeria, and reclaim Africa. This is the slogan. Don't forget you are listening to Twisdom 360 Politics Unplugged, and this is part of our series of Outline X Twisdom 360 Politics Unplugged. Now we are gonna go to the Kowa Global Trend, where we are gonna talk about issues globally in our mid show. Don't go anywhere. Just wait and listen.
Yo, this Kowa Podcast, we talk for the block, for the youth in the gutter and the ones they forgot. We ain't begging for crumbs, we taking the block. The Gakasasu Wasala, we aiming for the sky. From the north to the south, east to the west, we speak truth raw, no bulletproof vest. This so cocky live, yeah, we going all in. Knowledge is a weapon, revolution's the win. You can catch us on Spotify, keep it steady. Kowa Podcast, Facebook page, YouTube, twist on 360's ready. No lies, no filters, just fire effects. Come out for the people, we taking it back. Kowa Podcast.
Yes. Welcome back. Welcome to Kowa Podcast, Twisdom 360 Politics Unplugged. Now we are gonna go to Kowa Global Trend from Twisdom 360 Politics Unplugged. Local Resistance News Roundup. The voice of the many, not just the few. The climate ruling heard round the world, the International Court of Justice has declared climate destruction a human rights violation. But the frontline communities already knew that, from extractive oil fields in the Niger Delta to the rising waters in the Pacific. This ruling validates that the people have shouted for decades, our lives are not collateral for profit. The struggle for ecological justice is now backed by law, but the real power remains in mass organizing. Reject financial slavery. At the gate of the UN tax summit in Seville in Spain, the exploited struck back. Movements from Africa, Latin America, and Asia united under one message: cancel the debt, tax the rich, fund survival, no more IMF pauperity. Yeah, tax the rich and fund survival. No more IMF puppetry. No more trickle-down lies. This is economic warfare, and the South is refusing to die quietly. The Iranian regime is accelerating executions of dissidents. This is counterinsurgency in real time, but solidarity cannot be silenced. Global protests are rising in defense of those fighting fascism with bare hands and brave heart. Every act of resistance in Iran echoes in Lagos, Accra, Johannesburg, and Caracas, and everywhere operation wears a uniform. Peter Obi calls out Tinubu's statistical propaganda. Peter Obi is naming what the people feel. Tinubu's regime is drowning the poor while hiding behind rigged statistics. Prices soar, wages vanish, and hunger spreads. Yet the ruling class prints out spreadsheets to justify suffering, but the working class is waking up. This is not mismanagement, it is systemic theft. Workers organize, government stalls. Federal workers are rising. Campus technologies are preparing to shut down. The state delays, denies, and distracts. But the people are done begging. This is a class war. The workers are refusing to be disposable. Nigeria has joined the rank of world worst violators of labor rights, and yet the resistance grows stronger. From Sahel to the UN podium to the Nigerian picket lines, this is one fight against capitalist empire. Now we are gonna go to the news rounds up in Nigeria's politics today. Don't forget you are listening to Kowa Global Trade on Kowa Podcast, Twisdom 360 Politics Unplugged. Nigeria's women team, Super Falcons, have once again made we the people proud of them. Yes, indeed, they are making us proud. Everybody in this country is just proud of our Falconet. In a cheering match against Morocco against the Atlas Lioness. Super Falcons win African Women Cup of Nations. Victory. Nigeria's senior women's football team, the Super Falcons, celebrated their 10th Women's Africa's Cup of Nations WAFCON title after a 3-2 comeback win against Atlas Lioness in Rabat. President Bola Tinubu compared national honors Officer of the Order of the Niger, OON, on the team and awarded each player 150 million. The team's arrival in Abuja, their reception at the State House have been widely covered, but many activists see that if the Nigerian police can work for about 35 years and get a hunger wages and hunger allowances, this is unjust and it is abuse to our security forces and we will never have security, while others see it as aligning with the Nigeria's vision, making Nigeria proud, and these people are working for every Nigerian home, according to many. The opinion differs. U.S. birthright tourism crackdown. The United States mission in Nigeria issued warning against Nigerian traveling to the U.S. primarily to give birth for American citizenship, promoting call for hospital reforms in Nigeria. This has sparked discussions on visa policies and healthcare improvement. The United States is once again wanted to always downgrade the African countries and put the policies of, reciprocity. You cannot just violate the U.S. Constitution that allowed citizen birthright. So you cannot just keep putting out statements and denying people what is their own rights. Economic and financial development news. Electronic payment transaction in Nigeria surged to 284.99 trillion in quarter 1 2025, a 17.7% increase, with POS transactions hitting 10.45 trillion naira, up to 200.9%. However, concern about Nigeria's economy persists, with report of a revised GDP underperforming oil output affecting 2025 budget funding and rice prices signaling economic strength. The federal government highlighted the rising cases of hepatitis B affecting over 8.1% of the population despite available vaccination in the health news. Additionally, Lassa Fever has claimed 152 lives in 2025 with flood alert issued for over 28 states due to health and environmental risk. Now we are going to go to entertainment. Nigerian music stars are making waves with Davido's song With You featuring Omoyele climbing on number one on Nigeria's iTunes chart and remaining in Spotify's top 10. Rema became the first African artist to feature on the cover of a global music magazine, and Idris Abdul Karim, Nigeria's legendary musician and activist, called President Tinubu the worst president in recent statement, stirring controversy. But I think there is nothing of controversy out there. This guy is what he is. Idris called him with his real name. Big shout out to Idris Abdul Karim. Now we are going to go to the picket line and political and social issues. Protests in Lagos demanded the removal of APC chairman Ojelabi, with the placards reading Ojelabi must go. There are also discussions around Nigeria's 2027 elections, with figures like Atiku, Peter Obi and Tinubu dominating political conversation. Allegation of mismanagement of farmer intervention programs under the late President Muhammadu Buhari have surfaced again. Reports of Nigerian soldiers rising concern over inadequate food rations, and a trending video of police officer allegedly attempting to steal during a raid have sparked public outrage. Yeah, it was sparked. And police is doing this, then why not ordinary citizen? Additionally, 35 people were killed reportedly by kidnappers despite ransom payment. This is highlighting the rottenness of this system, where just people's life means nothing. How can our lives mean nothing to these guys? If you take a look at what is going on, you will definitely realize that our life means nothing to these guys. If not, why the kidnappers can just, in cold blood, kill our citizens, and walk away unaccountable. Can you imagine that? I mean, killing someone after paying the same ransom these ransom seeking kidnappers demanded, and our government is just there like a stooge doing nothing. This is absolutely outrageous, and I believe something must be done. And not only something must be done, it is very dangerous. It is setting dangerous precedents. Not only the kidnappers killing 35 people, but it shows how deep Nigeria's security road goes. Police accused of theft and soldiers denied food. Even the state imposers are victims of the same elite neglect and nonchalance. This is what is the scary part of it. Look, we are still going round in global trend, Kowa Podcast global trend. Don't forget you are listening to Tuesday 360 Politics Unplugged, Kowa Podcast global trend. A Nigerian doctor sounded alarm. Female students are selling their eggs to survive school. In a capitalist nightmare, everything becomes currency, even your biology. This isn't just an economic crisis. It is a moral one. When survival means selling your body, it is not a system, it is a sentence. And this is very dangerous. Don't forget you are listening to Kowa Podcast. This is Kowa Global Trend, from Wapcon Pride to Wamp Prakash Survival. The contradictions are screaming. The system will not serve us, but the people are watching, moving, organizing, and the future is not a statistic. It is a struggle. This is Tuesday 360 Politics Unplugged from Kowa Podcast. Don't go anywhere. We are gonna come right back to the second segment of our program. Don't go anywhere. Just wait a little moment, a pause, and we are gonna back.
Until next time. Spotify, keep it steady. Kowa Podcast, Facebook page, YouTube, twist on 3 seconds ready. No lies, no filters, just fire and facts. Kowa for the people, we taking it back. Kowa Podcast. Kowa Podcast.
Welcome back. Come to terms with the truth. Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, according to reputable Israeli human rights organization. Per month now, the sky over Gaza has burned with bombs, and its streets have echoed with screams of mothers searching for their children under rubble. The world watches in horror as Israel continues its genocidal war against the Palestinian people, and yet some still deny it, distort it, try to reframe it as self-defense. But the mask is finally up. This isn't just the cry of Palestinian families or global protesters. This isn't merely the rage of the global South or the outrage of anti-imperialist voices. This is the admission, loud and clear, from inside Israel itself. Two of Israel's most respected human rights organization positions for human rights, Israel and B'Tselem, have bravely spoken out. They have accused their own government of genocide in Gaza. Not a conflict, not a collateral damage. Genocide, systemic, deliberate, brutal, state-sponsored. We are witnessing atrocities of genocidal proportions. I'm quote, B'Tselem. Positions for human rights Israel call the attacks on hospitals, civilians, and essential infrastructure in Gaza, quote, crimes against humanity. This is not just political disagreement. This is a humanitarian rupture. The global South knows the script. As African, we recognize the script we lived. Under colonialism, we have seen what it means when power dehumanizes an entire people and treat their lives as disposable. From apartheid South Africa to Nigeria's bedeviled civil wars, from Sudan to Congo, we know when a massacre is called by its name. And genocide is now called by its name. Gaza is not a battlefield. It is a cage, a prison, a place where nearly 2 million people are bombed, stabbed, and denied medical care, half of them children. This is being done with impunity. funded and armed by the United States and its Western allies. How can anyone still pretend this isn't genocide? The cheerleaders of apartheid must be held to account, and the moment of reckoning is coming now. We turn to the mouthpieces of this occupation, those who once wore the mask of neutrality of Western media houses, political commentators, paid influencers, and local apologists who cheered the bomb, who twisted language, who said Israel has a right to defend itself, as hospitals were turned to ashes and ambulances bombed in motion. Where are they now? When Israeli voices are calling this genocide, when South African lawyers, Latin American movements, Arab intellectuals, and black liberation leaders all echo the same cry, how can anyone still cling to the narrative of denial? Engage in denialism. The silence of the so-called international community is complicity. Their vetoes at the UN Security Council, their arms shipments, their diplomatic protection, these are the tools of genocide. This is not just news item. It is a struggle for humanity. This isn't just another segment on our show. This is the heart of politics. We do not report genocide. We resist it. Kowa Podcast, Tuesday 360 Politics Unplugged does not exist to parrot neutrality. We exist to speak truth, to power, to amplify the struggle of oppressed people, and to expose the system. We are here to expose and dramatize the systems. Imperialist, capitalist, colonialist, settler, Zionist, settler, colonialist that enable these crimes. We are not afraid to say it. Israel is an apartheid regime. Israel is committing genocide, and it must be stopped. We demand immediate ceasefire and full humanitarian access, support the BDS movement, boycott, divestment, and sanctions, challenge local and global media that distort the narrative, stand with Palestine not out of pity but out of solidarity, demand accountability at the International Criminal Court. As African leftist revolutionaries, we must align our struggle for justice here at home with the global struggle for liberation. Palestine is not a foreign issue. It is a mirror of our pain and our hope. Until all are free, none are free. Quote. Follow us for more raw truth and unapologetic resistance. Tuesday 360 Politics Unplugged, Kowa Podcast on Spotify, Speaker Up, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcast. Don't forget Tuesday 360 TV on YouTube and Kowa Podcast on Facebook, and Tuesday 360 Unplugged on Facebook, TikTok, and indeed Instagram. This is Tuesday 360 Politics Unplugged from Kowa Podcast signing out. See you in another episode. Bon chance. Struggle continue.